G'day, welcome to Creative Timber Concepts YouTube channel. On this channel it's my goal to show what the average person can do with generally the tools they have at their disposal in the shed. Something you can buy from the hardware store, Bunnings, which is where I like to go, and places like that. You don't have to go to expensive machine shops to purchase some of the equipment, but you can do it on a fairly even budget. And that's my goal, is to show you how to create some great creative timber projects utilising second-hand timbers you find lying out on your throw out your dead days, those types of things. We can create some great projects and have some great functional things within the house, but also something you might like to sell as well. So I do hope you enjoy this channel, and as I go through these things, if you want to feedback to me on things you'd like to be seeing or more detail or particular things you'd like to see, then please make comments in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe if you really do like this. And you might be wondering why I'm actually in this bedroom. Well, this is the first project that I'm going to be demonstrating on this channel, and this is the bed that I've just recently created while we're all in COVID-19 kind of lockdown. I thought it'd be a great Easter project to take some dirty old timber slabs and create them into a lovely floating double bed for my wife in our bedroom. So that's why we're in the bedroom, and I hope you really do enjoy this video. As you can see, this bed, quite happy with the end result. Got some floating shelves and actually some power points underneath. Put some LED strip lighting behind it. A little bit hard to see in the daytime, but there's the timber work. This is actually a red gum, and it's turned out like really nice. Very happy with it. So let's get on with this project, and don't forget to make any comments that you would like to see more detail of. Enjoy. So for this project, I've gone out to the back of the property where I live, and I'm looking at these timbers that have been on the ground for quite a number of years. You can see they're not in the best condition. A lot of warps and cracks in them, but decided to use these to demonstrate how you can actually trim up and produce some great timbers out of these. Here's a couple of the timbers I've selected. As you can see, they've got some fairly good warps in them and hollowing. And here on the bench you can see, and I'll demonstrate the degree of hollowing and how we'll go about fixing it. You can see here, put the straight edge across it, and you can see you've got a good 40-50 mil hollowing there. We're just going to decide to cut this straight down the middle. I only need pieces for this bed, for the sides of the bed, about 250 wide, and so I'll be able to cut this down the middle and get 2 pieces out of this. Here we go, cutting it down the middle, and you can see once this is cut completely through, it'll drop, and you'll see we've taken the warp out by cutting it down the middle, and it makes the machining a lot easier. You can see there. Planning on starting about 60 mil, looking to bring it down to about 40 mil as a final product. So we put the straight edge again across, and you can see how we've taken the warp out. Now here's 3 pieces that I have cut up, ready for thicknessing. This is the sled and the jig I've made up for thicknessing or trimming and leveling the timbers. You can see I just use a level on each side of it to level it up initially. Then I've got a string line which is got pinned at all 4 corners and coming across on the diagonals. If this line touches each other just gently, I'll demonstrate that with my finger, that means it has to be true across all 4 corners, and therefore flat. And so we can then level and flatten the slab accordingly. And I've just had to wedge it up, and using the metal brackets there to hold it firm. Here is the sled I've made to go over the jig, and with the slab ready to go on it. I won't go into much detail on how I've made that. There's plenty of great YouTube videos on how to do that. And here just looking at making sure the slab is as level as I can get it initially, also taking any movement out of it, and doing that by placing again a wedge which is then screwed in and fixed in position to hold the slab at a level as possible position, also making it secure so it doesn't move. So you can see here the slab is not too bad. Obviously not even yet, with a bit of a hook up there, which is probably going to be the highest point to start at. take it down this other end and again do the same thing, checking as you go down the length of that, making sure there's no real high spots. Again, not too bad from that great warp that we started with this slab, cutting it down the middle. Now here I originally used to use just a single 25mm router bit. Now I purchased a 50mm or 2-inch router bit, which should make the job so much quicker. The router goes into the sled like that, turn her on. This is just a Ryobi router, 1500 watts, and it slides across the jig like that in the sled moving, and I'm probably taking off initially about 2mm because we're only doing short sections of it. Taking your time, making it gentle. Should have a mask on there, and I do put one on here. You can see we've started to trim those edges, and this edge down here obviously was the highest point, so we've taken off mostly there. Just continuing on and taking off up to 2mm at a time. Now it probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes each section, each time you're coming across, taking leveling thickness off. It doesn't take too long. I could have this done professionally, but as part of the project it's great. You can see here it's starting to look really great. Just a bit of a hollow still there in the middle, but what I'll do here is flip it across, flip it over, do the other side, then come back to that side. You can see that's lovely, it's starting to look lovely and straight there. Here's the 3 pieces that I need for the sides of the beds, all leveled up now and come down to around 40mm. Taking it through my thicknesser to bring them down to 40mm, and also to just ensure each piece is exactly the same. Here you can see the 3 boards all trimmed down. Fantastic looking now. Red gum this timber is. It really looks great. This timber also has a couple of cracks in the end, and I'm just using a 5-minute epoxy to fill them. These are only shallow cracks, but just to fill them, and they'll go off really quick. Here's another board that I'm using for the headboard. Some larger cracks in this one, so I've already machined it down, and I'll take some time now to fill the cracks. These cracks go all the way through using a 2-part epoxy resin. Very simple process really, making sure you tape the back side of it so that the resin doesn't go through. And in this case I've just added some sawdust to the resin mix for effect, and also to make it a bit thicker, but it has a great effect when you put sawdust. It's important to keep an eye on this and allow the resin to go completely through the crack, using a spatula to force it through, particularly because it's slightly thicker here. Normally it would run through, fill up. You'll get air bubbles coming forward to the top. It's important just to keep a check on it as it begins to go off and harden. So while the tea resin was drying, I've cut the timbers for my base, and here I'm just stitching together with bugle screws or batten screws, these 190 by 45mm pieces of pine. Makes for a very strong base, but also the bugle screws make a very strong fixing. I'll be painting this all anyway, so you won't see it, and because it's a floating bed, you won't see this anyway, it's underneath the bed. And here just placing the tape measure across the diagonals to check the square of the box. Pretty important to be square when you start working. Then placing the bearers on and fixing them with a single screw at this stage. I'll be disassembling it to put it back in the bedroom as it's quite large. So here's the bed base all assembled. I've used screws predominantly in here so that I can disassemble it completely, pretty much so I can get it in the bedroom. And here's the timbers all sanded down to about 180 grit. Really come up well, ready for sealing. So these are the 3 side parts to the bed. And these 2 I've also trimmed, selected, filled with resin. These are just floating shelves on the headboard. You'll see how they come up. Here's the headboard. Come up really well after it was filled. There's the filled resin. I'll demonstrate in a minute what it does look like when it has a sealer over it. You can just check that out by applying just a damp rag over the top. But just a stunning bit of timber now, this rig done. As you can see there, that's the sawdust in that fill. Just adds a little bit of dimension to it rather than just straight filler. So here's the first coat on the sealer. It's come up a real treat. The floating shelves. And across to the headboard over there. Very, very happy with how this has turned out. Using Osmo oil. Very happy with this as a product. I highly recommend Osmo oil for use in this type of product. Here we are ready for assembly. Now just so you know, I've used pocket holes to join the corners of the side timbers on the base. And they will go together quite nicely with those pocket hole screws. So here are all the sides in place now on the bed base. Now onto the bed head. I'm going to use the old bed head to make the legs for the bed head, utilising those square timbers there. And here what I've done is I've rebaited down the length I required and just a slight angle so that it fits the contour of the slab. This timber actually is finished in a fairly similar colour to the existing timbers, and I'll be touching up where the previous screw fixings and so forth. It's using 3 screws to fix these legs to the bed head, and here it is standing up against the bed base, utilising screws and then later on some bracing to assemble it. Starting to look the part now, as you can see. Love the spalting in that bed head timber. Just great, it gives it a great shimmer to it. So I'm pretty stoked in how this is turning out, to be honest. Looking pretty fantastic, if I don't mind saying so. Now here I'm just demonstrating how I ascertained and fixed the floating shelves. Just found a level I was happy at and a fixing point, and then fixed it with screws from the back side. Plan is to put a power point and USB charge points underneath those shelves. That'll have to be done by an authorised electrician, obviously. And here is the bed ready to be disassembled to be reassembled. So there we have it, one king size floating bed. Turned out really awesome. Very happy with it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed making this build. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe, and you can keep up to date on social media. And next time on Creative Timber Concepts, we'll be creating something awesome from this lovely piece of marri tree. So until then, take care and God bless.